بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده والرسول صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. All praise is due to Allah. We praise Him, we beseech Him, and we seek refuge in Allah from the evil of ourselves. Whomsoever Allah guides, then none can misguide him. Whomsoever Allah, the glorified and the exalted, misguides, then none can guide that person aright. I bear witness and I publicly testify that none has the right to be worshipped in truth but Allah, and that Muhammad ibn Abdullah is his slave and his messenger sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam. To proceed, before I commence my lecture today, I would like to thank the administration of the masjid for inviting me, having their husn dhan in their brother, to give this lecture and presentation today, and facilitating my coming and facilitating the ease of my stay. Also, I would like to thank our brother Nasir, Hafidahullah, for being the facilitator between myself and the masjid, and for his husn dhan in allowing me to come today. My presentation today is inshallah ta'ala, two stages. The first stage, we will look at Christmas, or Shirkmas as we call it, looking at the historical background of Shirkmas. And then the other is advice to the community. So without further ado, I would like to start with the first section, which is about Shirkmas. Now, the word Christmas, as we know it today, has only come into the English language in the 10th century. So this word, Christmas, is a new word. If you go back 2,000 years ago, unheard of. If you go back 11,000 years ago, unheard of. If you go back to the time of Jesus, Isa alayhi salatu wasalam, unheard of. So this causes us to ask the question, if this word, this term Christmas is new, so where does it come from? Now, the festival known as Christmas was unknown to the early Christian historians. The historians of the Christian church, the early ones, writing in the 4th and the 3rd century, had not heard of Christmas. Rather, you found that the early historians, the scholars of the Christian church, used to mock, that is, make fun of the Romans who used to celebrate birthdays. Now, here comes something interesting. In this country, people are encouraged to celebrate their birthday, am I right? If you're born on the 22nd of December, you celebrate your birthday. If you were born last year, your first birthday. 10 years ago, your 10th birthday. 20 years ago, your 20th birthday, am I right? But we never ask ourselves, where do these celebrations come from? Many of us in our minds, we believe they are secular. They have nothing to do with religion. However, my respected brothers and sisters, most of the celebrations and festivals that are celebrated around the world have religious roots. So if you look at birthdays, as we see here from the Catholic Encyclopedia, birthdays are as old as the Roman Empire. And also with birthdays, some of the customs associated to birthdays are linked to paganism. Pagans are those people who worship statues, stones, idols, the moon, the sun, the wind. They worship these things. So, for example, part of the customs of birthdays, we have candles, am I right? Or am I wrong? Talk to me, people. Am I right? Yes. So if you are 5 years of age, how many candles do you have? 5. If you're 10? 10. If you're 20? 20. And if you're 50? 50. Yeah, 50 candles, yes? But do you know, my respected brothers and sisters, that the whole aspect of having candles was to what we call appease, to make happy the spirits. They believed, same with Halloween. In Halloween, they believed that the spirits could enter into this world. So you did things to make them happy by giving sweets. Don't we have trick or treat in Halloween?
Yes.
Yes, we have trick or treat. Sweets given to the spirits to make them happy. Same with birthdays. The ancient people, they believed that you have to make the spirits happy. So you have to sacrifice something to the spirits, anything. And so if you were to light a candle, to blow out this candle, it's a form of sacrifice. This shouldn't be a surprise to us Muslims, because we know of the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ where he said that one man went to paradise and another man went to hellfire because of a fly. Who's heard of that hadith? Raise your hand. Only a few of us? The hadith the Prophet told us, and I'm paraphrasing here, is that a man came to like a bridge, a gate, and he wanted to cross. And the person who was responsible for the gate said, you can only cross here if you sacrifice something for the God of this valley. So the man said, I have nothing to sacrifice. So he said, sacrifice anything, even of a fly. So the man went, he killed a fly in the name of that God. The man who did this committed shirk, and so he went to Jahannam. Another man came, and he was told the same thing. If you want to cross, you have to sacrifice anything, even a fly. And he said, I've not sacrificed anything in my life except for Allah. And he was killed, and he went to paradise. So this idea should be strange to us, sacrificing things in the name of other gods. And so, we find with this Christmas, as we said, that its origins is very new. So here comes a question. This celebration of Christmas, if the early church fathers didn't record it, didn't recognize it, saw it as pagan, then where did it come from? Where is its origins? Now, the Christmas and its traditions are actually part of the worship of the god Saturn. Who went to school in the UK? Raise your hands. Okay. So in school you learn about the Greek gods and the Roman gods, am I right? We still do that, am I right? Yeah? So in school, from primary school to secondary school, you learn about the Greek gods, you learn about the Roman gods, you learn about the ancient Egyptian gods, and you may even learn about the ancient Egyptian gods, you learn about the ancient Roman gods, you learn about the Greek gods, but do you learn about Allah? That's a good question, isn't it? Yes? And this is an important point for fathers and mothers here. In school we learn about the Greek gods, the ancient gods of the Greeks. We learn about the Roman gods, the ancient gods of Rome. And multicultural schools, they have a multicultural flavor. You learn about the ancient Egyptian gods. Where is Egypt, by the way? Where is Egypt? Okay, young man. In Africa, yes? If you ask, I asked that question, if you were to ask some people, where's Egypt? They would think Egypt's in Rome. Or Egypt's in Europe. Egypt's in Africa. So to make it a multicultural flavor, they bring in ancient Egypt. But do we learn about Allah? No, we don't learn about Allah. So this is very important for us as a big responsibility we parents have. To fill that vacuum that is there. And so, Christmas as a celebration, my respected brothers and sisters, was an ancient celebration celebrated by the ancient Romans. From the 17th of December to the 25th of December was a time of celebration of the god Saturn. Saturn, for ancient Romans, was a god of abundance, of money, of wealth, of prosperity. In this time in December, what happens in December? Not just Christmas, something else happens in December.
Our days are shorter.
Okay, our days are shorter. Excellent. What does that mean for people? If your days are shorter, what happens to the weather? It becomes cold. Can you grow things in December? No, yes? The ancient people were people who were concerned with fertility. What does fertility mean? Let's see if the British education is doing its job. Fertility. Let's see if the Tanzanian education system has done its job. What's fertility? The word fertility. Excellent. The word fertility means life, to give birth, to grow. So the ancient people were concerned, especially pagans were concerned about fertility. Why? Because people would die young. They would have children and their children would die. They would have animals and their animals would die young. So they were concerned with fertility. So at this time now, in December, when you can't grow things, it's hard to grow because it becomes cold. The days are short. All the conditions are not there for growth. This is a time where they were concerned with fertility. And so they turned to the god Saturn. And this period in the time of the ancient Romans, from the 17th of December to the 25th of December, was a time of lawlessness. What do I mean by lawlessness? Can anybody help me? What do I mean by lawlessness? Excellent. Why is it the young kids are raising their hands? Where's the adults? Lawlessness means there were no laws. It was a time in which people drank lots, ate lots, and did those things which Allah is not pleased with. Between the 17th to the 25th of December. And this time, this worship of Saturn also meant that the ancient Romans would close the doors of the courts and people weren't arrested for doing lawless things. This time, the 7th to 25th of December, was a time in which the ancient Romans let loose. Do we see the same thing happening here in our society today? Think about it. When we think about Christmas, what do we think about? Shopping, excellent. What else? People spending time. Do people spend times with their families in Christmas? They do. What else do they do?
Eating and drinking.
Somebody arose at the point. We spend a lot of time here at Christmas eating and drinking. Am I right? Is there a Christmas without drink? Think about it. If somebody invited their family, we're having Christmas dinner today, however, there's no turkey, there's no alcohol. Is that Christmas? Is that considered to be Christmas? No. Even today, Christmas is no longer about what we're going to talk about in a second, the birthday of Jesus. In school, at work, we talk about Christmas. Do we ever say this is the birthday of Jesus anymore? No? Who goes to school here? Raise your hand. Or college?
They do in school.
Huh?
They do in school.
In school, do you talk about Christmas being the birthday of Jesus?
Yes, they do.
Huh?
They do.
All schools?
All primary school, majority they do.
How do you know?
I went to school.
So do I.
Sorry?
So do I.
So they do, yeah.
No, all schools know.
I don't know, some school, but
Yeah.
primary they do.
First of all, the brother made the point, he's contesting with me that the majority of schools, they say that Christmas is the birthday of Jesus. First of all, not all schools do. That's the first thing. Not all schools do. Christmas has been secularized. They have been secularized, meaning Jesus, religion has been taken out of it. It's just seen as a celebration like any other celebration. That's the reality of Christmas. In fact, Christmas today is just about presents. And we'll talk about that later. So, if we look at the legacy of Christmas, in the 1600s, that's the 600 years after the death of Jesus, 600 years after the death of Jesus, the Christian church recognized that the people of the British Isles here, the British Isles, would not give up certain aspects of their paganism. So the church decided, the Pope of its time, Pope Gregory, in 601, he wrote a letter to those of the church here in the British Isles, telling them, look, don't dismantle the temples or break down the temples, no. Change them into churches. Don't tell the people, stop worshipping the god Saturn between the 17th to the 25th of December, but rather say that this is a Christian celebration. The same with Halloween. Halloween is All Saints Day, am I right or wrong? Brother who works in schools. Now I'm going to pick on you now. Halloween is what? The 31st of October is All Saints Day, am I right or wrong? But originally, is it All Saints Day? Halloween, the 31st of October, is it originally All Saints Day, yes or no? No. Halloween originally is Samhain. Samhain is an ancient festival celebrated by the people called the Celts. Who are the Celts? I have the young brother over there. Yeah. Ah, that's how they teach you. They're the Roman enemies. The Celts are amongst the indigenous people of the British Islands. They were here before the Romans came. Yes? Before even the Angles and Saxons came. The vast majority of people on the British Isles today are not indigenous. And people find this hard to believe. Who's heard of Cheddar Man before? Cheddar Man. It's not a game, it's not a food, it's a human being. Who is Cheddar Man? I've moved away from Christmas to history now. Who is Cheddar Man? No. Cheddar Man is, do you know young brother? Cheddar Man is the oldest fossils of humans we have found on the British Isles. Cheddar Man lived on the British Isles over 10,000 years ago. Over 10,000 years ago. So the scientists, they extracted his DNA from his bones and they reconstructed his skin tone and his hair. Does anybody have an idea what Cheddar Man looks like? Look at this brother here, that's what Cheddar Man looks like. Okay. Look at this brother here, that's what Cheddar Man looked like. If you came to Britain 10,000 years ago, that's who you would have seen. Not the vast majority of people here, because we learned in school the vast majority of people here, they came from where? Countries like Denmark and Norway and Germany. The English language is Germanic in its origin. There was no English language 700 years ago. It's a relatively new language. Vast majority of people who voted for Brexit, which is their right, and talk about immigrants are themselves the sons and daughters of immigrants. And this is a very, very important point. And so, this celebration was celebrated. Now, my respected brothers and sisters, concerning the birthday of Jesus, the Catholic Church, which is the oldest Christian church in the West, the oldest Christian church in the West, not in the world, in the West, from Rome. The early scholars of the Catholic Church, they had a dispute. When was Jesus born? Who could tell us when was Jesus born?
In the summer, springtime.
Okay, very close. But there's a better answer than that. Okay, in the summer. Anybody else? 25th December, no. Anybody else? Winter? No. Easter? No. Spring? Good answer, but no.
Autumn.
Autumn? Good answer, but no. Anybody else? Should I answer the question? Should I? It's very simple. One more time. Try. Sorry? 0 BC. 0 BC is a good guess. Brothers and sisters, we don't know when Jesus was born. That's the answer. Yes? Nobody knows exactly when Jesus was born because there weren't accurate records taken. So the early Christian church, they debated. Was it in August? Was it in April? Was it in the spring? But they never said that he was born in December. And so we learned a few things today. Remember, we have some prizes to give, yes? So keep this in mind. I'm going to ask some questions. So one of them, the things we've learned, that Christmas was only a new term in the 10th century. The second thing we learned, that Christmas is a pagan. It's a pagan celebration celebrated by the ancient Romans. A third thing we learned, during this period, the 17th of December to the 25th of December, there was a time of lawlessness and drinking and eating. We also learned that the early church fathers did not recognize Christmas. They saw Christmas as being pagan and something not to be celebrated. We also learned there is no historical accurate record of when Jesus alayhi salatu wasalam was born. We have rough estimates. So you can't say that Jesus was born on the 25th of December when we don't know. It is like the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Do we know the exact day he was born? Controversial subject here. We do. When was the exact day he was born? And the hadith for that, please. How can you say the Prophet said or did something or gave tacit approval to something with no dalil? Sahwallah. Isn't it? If I said the Prophet drank water from a bottle, what's the first thing we say? Was your proof or evidence for that? Am I right? If you can't say to me it's an authentic hadith, the Prophet was born on a specific day, then how can you attribute it to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam? And this is important, am I right? Because people take the day of the Prophet's birth to be a celebration. And when you ask people, after debating and discussing with them and, clearing away their doubts, they say, well, the Christians, they have Easter's birthday on the 25th, we have the Prophet's birthday, sallallahu alayhi wasallam. But is that how you measure Islam? Because someone does something, we do something? Of course not. Our religion is a knowledge-based religion, based upon what Allah said, His Messenger said, and the first 3 generations. We don't move left or right. When you move left or right, you start to have problems, and we see what the problems are. So from having the birthday of the Prophet ﷺ, where they would read the seerah, they moved on to the Burda, which has a lot of problems with it, the Burda. Then now today, what do we see in the Muslim community? It's almost like Diwali or Holi. You know Diwali? You know Holi? Where they have lights and they have throwing paint on each other. They dangle lights from the masajid. They dangle lights from people's houses. Is this what the Prophet ﷺ came with? Talk to me, people. No. No, I didn't come with that, yes? Besides the point that neither did the Prophet ﷺ or the best of generations, his Sahaba, did they celebrate his birthday? No, they didn't celebrate his birthday. So do we have knowledge or something that they didn't have? That's what we're saying, isn't it? If the Prophet didn't do it, ﷺ, or his Sahaba, but we're doing it, we have knowledge that they don't have. So, from the things that we learn, my respected brothers and sisters, concerning Christmas, is that many of the traditions of Christmas have nothing to do with Christianity. Have nothing to do with Christianity. Because many times in schools, we are sold that Christmas is Christian, am I right? Yes or no? Do Jehovah's Witnesses celebrate Christmas? No. Evangelical Christians celebrate Christmas? No. Seventh-day Adventists celebrate Christmas? No. Why don't those Christians celebrate Christmas? Because they understand the pagan origins of Christmas. Now, what about Muslims? Let's keep it real. And sometimes the truth, it hurts. I even seen a picture recently of a Christmas tree in a masjid. What about at home when nobody can see us? We give presents, we have crackers, we have decorations. Look at that. On the one hand, you have Christians who don't celebrate Christmas. On the other hand, you have Muslims who celebrate Christmas on the sly. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. And then in schools, you have the nativity, the depiction of the birth of Jesus. When you have Mary, that's Fatima in year 6. And Muhammad is the baby Jesus who is from year 3. This is the reality. Am I right, Sheikh? This is the reality. Where evangelical Christians quite rightly don't celebrate it, you have Muslims with the guts on. They're right in there. And we are told that their celebration is Christian, has nothing to do with Christian. Also, we have British values. Am I right, Sheikh? British values are you have to respect what people believe and respect if people don't believe, yes or no? If I don't believe it, should I do it? No. If you don't believe in religion, according to British values, you should not be forced to participate in religious festivals and celebrations. Here comes the question. And if I don't believe in something, why am I doing it? This is a very important question, especially I aim this at the parents. At the parents. And those of us who are in schools. It's important for us to educate people because vast majority of schools in the United Kingdom are non-denominational. What does that mean? Non-denominational school, what does that mean? If you go to St. Jude's or St. Patrick, that's denominational, that's a religious school. But the vast majority are non-denominational. What does that mean? Excellent, doesn't belong to a religion. So they are secular, yes or no? Talk to me. They're secular. How then in a secular school do you have religious celebrations? Does that make sense to anybody? So what? Isn't it? That's the question. According to British values, if I don't value that, can you make an atheist child celebrate Christmas? According to British values? Should you force an atheist child to celebrate Christmas in British values? Ask you a question. What they do, is that legal or illegal according to British values? It's illegal, isn't it? It's illegal. If I'm an atheist, don't believe in religion, you force me to participate in religion against what I believe, that goes against British values. Because you're supposed to tolerate belief or non-belief, yes or no?
Curriculum is outside of British value as well.
No, that's totally incorrect.
They use them.
The school British values as part of safeguarding, which everything is under. How can you say it's outside? If they practice that, they're going against the law. Every single teacher should have prevent training. At the centre of prevent training is British values. What does it centre on? Talk to me. There must be other practitioners here who do prevent training. Am I the only person? No. People of the masjid, we have prevent training for people in the mosques, am I right? Prevent training for people in colleges, in schools, universities. Part of it is, first thing you learn is British values. Tolerate people's beliefs or people who don't believe. Tolerance, am I right? Yeah. So if people don't believe, you can't force them to believe or participate. Talk to me. Talk to me, people. There's a very important point I'm talking about because I'm sending it home, especially to adults who need to be on the job and on the go. Because I never ever ever see Orthodox Jewish children celebrating Christmas. Do you, brother? Have you ever seen that? Never seen that in my life. Why is that? Why is that? I never seen an Orthodox or Reformed Jew being forced to celebrate Christmas. And I personally believe nobody should be forced to celebrate what they don't believe in. If you don't believe in it, why should you be forced to celebrate it? Am I right? But on the other side, how come I see lots of Muslims participating in it? When I ask them, do you believe in Christmas? They say, we don't believe in Christmas. How is that? Does that make sense to anybody here?
No.
Doesn't make sense, does it? Yes? And so, going back to the traditions of Christmas, my respected brothers and sisters. First of all, the Christmas tree. The Christmas tree is something that was done by pagans on the British Isles. Pagans themselves would cut trees and bring them into their houses as things of worship or connected to worship. We have wishing trees where you are encouraged to tie with string or with rope on a tree, on a branch or leaf of a tree, and to wish for something. This is a pagan practice. This practice of bringing trees into the home goes against the Bible itself. In Jeremiah, I don't want to bore you, but I think this is important to send the message home. In Jeremiah, which is in the Bible, 10:2-4, it says, "Thus saith the Lord, learn not the ways of the heathen." So the Lord has said, don't learn the ways of those people who commit shirk. "And be not dismayed at the signs of the heavens." Don't be dismayed at what you see happening in the heavens. "For the heathen are dismayed at them." What the heathens they see in the signs of the heavens, the weather changing, they're dismayed. "For the customs of the people are vain." The customs of the people, things people do, have no benefit. "For one cutteth the tree out of the forest, the work of the hands of the workman with the axe." So the person goes to the tree with the axe, they cut down the tree. "They sack it with silver and gold. They fasten it with nails and with hammers, that it move not." This is the Bible, not me speaking. Here's a condemnation from the Bible itself of this practice of the Christmas tree. However, the practice of the Christmas tree became popular in the 1800s when Queen Victoria married Prince Albert, Prince Consort Albert. In Germany, the Christmas tree was something popular amongst the ruling class and amongst the people. Where in the UK it wasn't something popular amongst the people, though amongst the ruling class it was popular because many people of the royal family were German. Till today, the British royal family are German, of German ancestry. So it was popular amongst them. When Queen Victoria married Prince Albert, it became a custom that was known amongst the ruling class, the middle classes, and the generality of the people. Also, the issue of mistletoe. Mistletoe. Mistletoe was used by ancient druids. What are druids? Druids. You want to answer or you don't know? You're saying, young brother here.
Magicians?
Excellent. They were the priest magicians of the ancient people, of the Celts and other people. The Druids. The Druids used to use mistletoe for poisoning purposes, to poison people. But this became mixed up with also the practices of the ancient Romans. So what do we do with mistletoe today? Nobody knows? Ah, yes. You coerce people, you force people to kiss under the mistletoe. Who knew this? Raise your hand. Look at that. Only a few people knew this. The brothers who are at work, when the Christmas party's happening, you've never seen people use mistletoe? Or mashallah, you're muwahidun, you don't attend the Christmas party. But this is from the customs. Also, my respected brothers and sisters, the giving of Christmas presents. The ancient Romans, the pre-Christian Roman Caesars or emperors, used to force people who they didn't like and didn't like them to give them presents. Imagine that. You don't like me and I don't like you, but I force you to give me presents. Humiliating, isn't it? Yes. They used to force them to give them presents. However, what happened over time, that this practice was no longer the people who the emperor hated, but everybody started giving presents. And this also became linked with somebody called Santa Claus. Who's Santa Claus? Ah, somebody said something interesting. Santa Claus, over there. Right at the back. Yes, you're looking around you. Saint Nicholas. What does Saint Nicholas mean? Saint Nicholas,
He was saint of, what do you call it, Myrus.
You're talking about where he came from? Okay, what is it? If I'm a saint, What does a saint mean? A saint is, yes.
Oh, the Christian church.
Saint is somebody who the Christian church has said is special, is holy. Am I right? Yes? Is special, who is holy. Yes? That's a saint. Saint Nicholas was somebody who was a bishop of Myra. This is a region near Turkey. He died in 345 in the Christian era. After his passing, a group of people started a cult around him. A cult. That is, they started to use him as an object of worship and tabarruk, which we have in the Muslim world. So in the Muslim world, somebody dies, they say he's a holy man, people start to make pilgrimage to his grave. Even they will take the dirt of his grave and put it on their faces. They may even commit shirk and they say, oh Sidi, so and so, help me. Am I right? Here comes the question, and people, I am not belittling anybody. I'm not being horrible. If you ask the person in the grave to help you, how does he hear you? How? How is it possible for the dead to hear? Think carefully. Spirit. Okay? The dead can't hear you, isn't it? Yes? Even a young child. How are you, brother? 10 years old, he understands that. Yes? If you were to go to the grave, I'm not saying we do this, I'm not sanctioning this, and to dig him up, could he stop you digging him up?
No.
Could he stop you?
No.
Of course not. Same with St. Nicholas. When they made a cult of St. Nicholas, they moved his bones from this region in Turkey to Italy. Could he stop them?
No.
No? So we find, unfortunately, past the Muslim world, the people, they venerate and they respect the dead people in the grave. And they say this person has spiritual power. This person can't stop you digging him up. How then can he answer your call? He can't protect himself.
That's right.
One of the natural instincts of humans is to survive. If you're in the middle of an ocean and you're drowning, a natural instinct will kick in to survive. To try to swim, to move your hands so you can stay alive, to stay afloat. It's natural. How come this respected person in the grave doesn't have that instinct to survive if he's so holy and special? Also, we find people in the Muslim world, they will go to this person in the grave and they'll give money. Here comes the question, how does that sheikh in the grave spend the money? How does that, is there a dhahab shield? I know the Somalis have dhahab shield, which is a money transfer. Is there a spiritual money transfer? You pay the money here and it goes to him in the afterlife. I'm not being funny, but these are valid questions. Also, they sacrifice animals for him. They go there, the big camel, big goat, they sacrifice. How do we transfer that dead goat to spiritual goat so we can eat it? And I say these things for us to think, my respected brothers and sisters. Some of the practices that we do and that are perpetuated in the Muslim world because people make money from them.
Yes, that's right.
That's the number one reason. When I was a new Muslim, I've been Muslim how long now? 26 years now? When I was a new Muslim, I lived in South London. An envelope from a non-Muslim country came to me, threatening me. They said to me, put some money in this envelope and send it back, or I will have misfortune throughout my life. Look at this. Like gangsters, isn't it? If you don't give me the £100, I'll smash your shop. I'll break your legs. Like gangsters. They threaten me spiritually. I'll have bad luck and this will die and that will happen. And this is why it's perpetuated in the Muslim world. Because some people eat from the ignorance of other people. Isn't it? When I was a Catholic, I used to be a Catholic. In Easter, you go to the church. At the end of the sermon, they bring what they thought was Jesus, a white man on a cross. Imagine this, in the Middle East, a white man. Yes? How is that possible in his time and his day and his age? A European. But they brought the cross, and you would go to the front of the church, kiss the cross, and you slip in something as well. You have to. These people have made religion a business. Religion is not a business, my respected brothers and sisters. And so is Santa Claus. This cult around this bishop was adopted by the church. And they said that, hey, this practice was by a saint by the name of St. Nicholas. In 1931, the Coca-Cola Corporation, which is responsible for the drink Coke, it asked a Swedish artist to draw for them Santa Claus, so they could use it in the promotion of their drink. And so, this artist, he used his friend as a model, a chubby, middle-aged white man, and this became the Santa Claus that we know today, that's promoted every day. I don't know if you know, last year, an African American had the audacity to say he was Santa Claus. What happened? Does anybody know what happened? A black man said he was Santa Claus. What happened? No, he didn't get killed.
He said he wasn't because
you were there. There was a big uproar because Santa can't be black. That's what they said. Imagine this. Nobody knows what Santa looked like. Am I right? You have a picture of St. Nicholas? We don't have a picture of St. Nicholas. So how can you then turn around and say Santa can't be black? But this shows you, my respected brothers and sisters. But here comes the real cost of Christmas. It is estimated by British Turkey. British Turkey is the organization or association responsible for turkeys in this country. You know, you have people responsible for potatoes and potato growers. You have people responsible for carrot and carrot growers. You have people responsible for chicken growers. Yes, they are a group, an association that is responsible for this industry. You have the same thing for British Turkey. British Turkey, they estimated, and this is a couple years ago, that £22 billion will be spent on Christmas. How much? £22 billion. A little bit of money or a lot of money? Imagine if the National Health Service had £22 billion. Imagine. Imagine that. If the schools that we have had £22 billion. Imagine that. £22 billion. This is the estimate of approximately 3 years ago. They reckoned that on average, each household will spend £796 a year. And I would say this is an underestimation, and I'll tell you why. When I was younger, because I still am younger, alhamdulillah, it was okay at Christmas time to give the kids a handkerchief, a jumper, or socks. Am I right? Same with Eid. When your kids are young, you give them a sock, packet of stockings or socks, 10 in a pack. The kids are like, alhamdulillah. Am I right? You give them what they used to call a lucky bag. So a bag had a toy, a tattoo, a little book in there, cost £1, £2. The kids were over the moon. Am I right?
Yes.
What about today? What about today? Who here is happy to have a packet of socks for Eid? Raise your hand. Tell the truth and shame the devil.
Some truth.
Your truth, alhamdulillah. What do most young people want? Well, let's keep it real now. A PS4. How much is PS4? £250. If you go to Argos, if they throw in some games with it. What else do young people want? Go to PS4? iPhone, which iPhone? iPhone X. There's no kid in the British Isles going to accept an iPhone 6. Am I right? If you give a kid iPhone 6, what's going to happen? They throw it back at you just like the socks or the jumper. What else do kids want?
Xbox One.
Xbox One, okay. How much is an Xbox One? £200 to £300. I think you now see the issue. If we are a country with nuclear families, and each nuclear family is 1.8 child, so let's round it up to 2 children. One wants a PlayStation 4, 200, and the other wants an iPhone X. That's around £1,000. You're talking about just the presents alone, £1,000. What about somebody with 3 children, 4 children, and brothers? You know you got to get the missus something as well, isn't it? If you're getting the kids an iPhone X, there's no way the missus wants a PlayStation. Am I right? Missus wants maybe jewellery, branded jewellery, not just anything from Argos. £15, £20, she wants something branded, am I right? How much is a branded piece of jewellery? 1,000, 2,000, 3,000. So a good piece of jewellery, not just anything like that. But I think you get my point. And this is my motivation of speaking. We find many parents, they find themselves in debt because of Christmas. They find themselves in debt. The debt lasts for years. Because if you're buying gifts for £2,000 to £3,000, it's not just going to be 1 or 2 months to clear £2,000. Maybe a year, 2, 3 years, am I right? People use credit cards. So, if you can imagine, on the television they have adverts for these companies. That if you need financial assistance, 3 questions, and we put the money in your bank, am I right? Have you seen the interest rates of these companies? So you borrow from them £1,000. When you look on the TV screen, look at the small print, the interest rate is 346%. What does that mean? So £1,000 you pay back how much? My math isn't that good. £3,496, am I right, brother? For £1,000, £3,000 you pay back. And you can imagine how many families have sunk into debt because of this. And so, they also estimate in the independent newspaper, they said on the 23rd of December, which is the busiest day of the Christmas period, I don't want to say their name, but a well-known supermarket, they make £2,000 every minute. Minute! £2,000 every minute. Selling what though? Selling wine. And they estimate £1 million is made from selling gin. And forgive me for specifying the names. So we can see the real toll of Christmas. But my respected brothers and sisters, for us, there are a number of things we need to keep in mind. What I'd like to do now is to stop and ask questions before I go into the next section. Can I give out the books now? Do you want to help me? Okay. I'm going to ask some questions. I kept it very basic and brief because we have lots of young people today. I stayed away from lots of the details. Okay. The first question I'd like to ask is a very simple question. Christmas, is it a new name or an old name?
New name.
Raise our hands. Okay. Let's have this young brother here. It's a new name. Come and get your prize, Barakallahu Feekum. Next question. The name Christmas, is it after the 10th century or before the 10th century? Brother, after. Come and get your prize. Also, Barakallahu Feekum. What about that? Yes.
Yeah, so you can ask them the question, and then if they answer, inshallah, just send them the message, inshallah. Shall you ask the question?
Okay. We have a question. We have two questions for the girls, and the girls are in the sisters section. And if they answer right, I will say the question, then pause, then give the answer. So if I will say the question, how do you do that? It's a bit complicated.
Inshallah. So my mother, inshallah, she will take the questions. She will take the sisters' answers, inshallah.
Okay. I'll give the question. Wait, shall I give the right answer after that?
Yes.
Okay, cool. I'll give the question. So for the girls,
they also have to put their hand up, inshallah. And then the sister will choose a question, choose a person, and then inshallah we'll give them the book so they can be given out.
Okay. The question for the girls, we can do it for both girls and boys, isn't it? Isn't it? Because we could do it here, they can take it there. Okay, cool. Alright, for this next question, the ancient Christian historians, did they celebrate Christmas, yes or no? Lots of hands up. The answer is no. Come and get your prize. Also, the ancient Christian historians, by the way, I have full, anybody wants references, I've got references for everything. This talk today is from Christian sources, not from Muslim sources or from a Muslim book. They're all from Christian sources. So the early Christian historians and people of the Christian church, do they celebrate birthdays? Yes or no? Let's have, No, excellent. Come and take a prize, inshallah. I said about birthdays, from the practices of birthdays is to have candles. Is this Christian or pagan? Young brother over there. Not you, mashallah, you are young. But the younger one behind you. It's pagan, come and get your prize. I said, okay, if Christmas is pagan, meaning it has nothing to do with Christianity, then what God did the pagans worship at this time? You choose somebody, Sheikh. You choose.
Anwar.
Who's Anwar? Anwar, go ahead, Anwar.
Come on. Who's Anwar?
Anwar's brother.
Please get sleep now.
Who said it? You said Saturn? You can't. The ancient Romans, this time of worshipping Saturn, what days was it? From what day to what day? Young brother.
17th to 25th of December.
Beautiful, up you come. 17th to 25th of December. We said that the Christmas tree, is it Christian or is it pagan? Very simple question. Go and choose something.
With the glasses. Yes.
It's Christian.
Wrong. Choose somebody.
No.
Pagan.
Excellent, okay. Yeah, it's pagan, it has nothing to do with Christianity. Also, we said the mistletoe, what did the ancient Druids use the mistletoe to do? This is a hard one now. Go ahead, Chef, you choose.
The brother.
Poison.
Beautiful. Up you come, mashallah. We said Christmas presents. What was the origin of Christmas presents? It's a hard one. Hard one. Choose something, Chef.
Yes.
Yeah.
You like force the other person to give him presents.
Okay, what type of person are you? Force somebody to give you presents. Who was that person? Oh. You. Were you around the time of the Romans?
No,
People you hate, excellent, yes? The ancient Roman Empire would force those people who he didn't like and didn't like him to give presents, yes?
Does he deserve it?
Yeah, he does deserve it.
There's 3 sisters that won as well.
Okay, 3. Alhamdulillah. We said, yeah, we said we got 2 more. Is that right? We got enough for 2 more? Yeah? We said, okay, Jazakallah khair. So, 2 more questions, inshaAllah ta'ala. Father Christmas, or the man they call Father Christmas, in what region was he born in?
Turkey.
Excellent, well done. Turkey was the region he was originally born in. And I said, how much will be spent by UK households on Christmas? How much? Huh?
22 billion.
Excellent, come and get your prize. 22 billion pounds, yes? We'll stop there for Salah, Jazakumullah khair. And after Salah we'll continue with our second section. And we'll say Ma'as-salam.
Inshallah, Jazakumullah khair. So the plan is, after Salah, we will have to go after this muhadara for break. Make sure that you'll be here, inshallah, for that lecture till Maghrib, inshallah. Barakallahu feekum. Jazakumullah khair.
What's that? Jazakumullah khair. What I'd like to conclude is a few Islamic reflections on Christmas and celebrating Christmas. And I know brothers were saying that they were hungry, and so I don't want to keep people longer than they need to stay. So I'll be very quick and I'll try to be very brief. The first thing we have to keep in mind, that my respected brothers and sisters, is that an Eid, a celebration, is something which reoccurs at a particular time or in a particular place. So 25th of April every year this reoccurs, this is considered to be an Eid. Or in this particular place, a particular time, this thing happens, it's considered to be an Eid. We Muslims, we have 2 Eids. The Prophet said that every people have a festival, and this is our festival. And he was pointing, sallallahu alayhi wasallam, to Eid al-Adha. In a hadith that's been collected by Imam Muslim and narrated by our mother Aisha radiallahu anha. So we have 2 Eids, Eid al-Adha and Eid al-Fitr. These are the 2 celebrations that we celebrate. Nothing more, nothing less. We don't celebrate celebrations that have no basis in the Kitab and the Sunnah. As we explained, we went into some detail, like the Prophet's birthday, sallallahu alayhi wasallam, has no basis. So we don't celebrate the Prophet's birthday, sallallahu alayhi wasallam. We don't celebrate Isra wa Mi'raj. No basis in the Kitab and the Sunnah. What we celebrate, my respected brothers and sisters, is the 2 Eids. Also, the Prophet warned us, sallallahu alayhi wasallam, in a hadith that has been authenticated by Imam al-Albani and narrated by Abdullah ibn Umar radiallahu anhu, where he said, "Man tashabbaha biqawmin fahuwa minhum." Whoever resembles a people is from them. So imagine, if this is a pagan festival and you celebrate, we fear for the person that they may resemble the pagans. The same way, if you celebrate a festival of light, and it's a pagan festival of light, that you may resemble the pagans in the things that they say. They may say incantations, they may say supplications, du'as to their deities. You may be saying these type of things. And just your actions, whether you accept it or don't accept it, whether you realize it, don't realize it, may be in conformity with the people of Shirk. And so we have to be careful. Also, something which is important, Allah says to us in the Quran, "O you who believe, follow not the khutuwat al-shaytan." Do not follow the footsteps of shaitan. And whoever follows the footsteps of shaitan, then indeed he commands immorality and evil deeds. Now this hadith, this ayah, astaghfirullah wa atubu ilayh, this ayah is a lecture in and of itself. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us many lessons from this ayah. The first of them, Allah addresses those people who believe. So if you're a person of belief, Allah is addressing you. Secondly, He says, don't follow the footsteps of shaitan. Don't follow shaitan. Don't follow him in the things that he does. Don't place your feet over his steps. Why? Allah says to us, and whoever follows the footsteps of shaitan, what does shaitan do? Imagine this. When it comes to Fajr Salah and you feel tired, does shaitan say to you, come on, wake up, pray? Does he? He says, nah, sleep, Habibi, sleep. Am I right? When you do something haram, does shaitan say to you, astaghfirullah, why are you doing this? He says to you, try it. You like it, it's okay. This is the sad reality. Because Allah says to us that He ya'mur bil-fahsha wa munkar. Fahsha is all those things which are immoral. It's not just one type of immoral thing, all types of immorality. That's what He commands you to do. Look at our young people. Today I was listening to the Sheikh. And the Sheikh said many things that were very important. He talked about magic. And do we know we practice magic in our schools? Do we know that? Who's heard of a thing called Charlie Charlie? Raise your hands. Charlie Charlie. What's Charlie Charlie? It's magic. Charlie Charlie is to ask the jinn to answer questions, just like the Ouija board. Where does Charlie Charlie take place? In schools, in classrooms, in the playground. Charlie Charlie. All the young people have heard of Charlie Charlie, am I right? It's magic. We fall into magic. We don't even know we fell into magic. Does shaitan say to you, astaghfirullah, stay away from Charlie Charlie? Some people will play Charlie Charlie all day into the evening. And munkar, those things which are bad. Here, a comprehensive noun for all that which is against Iman. As Ibn Taymiyyah, he said in Iqtida Sirat al-Mustaqim. So does shaitan come to you and say to you, look, you need money, go and work for it? No. What does shaitan say? You want to buy a burger, you only have £1, play money up. You know what money up is? Okay, so you guys know money up, yes? Or we used to call it in my day, penny up, what's it? Penny up the wall or penny against the wall, I can't remember it off my head. It's a game of gambling. And sometimes when they play money up, you don't play out in the playground where people can see you in the toilets. No one can see you in secondary schools. So he goes in with £1, everybody's playing this game, and he comes out with £10 in his pocket. Shaitan said to him, go and play the game, maybe you'll win. Am I right? So he tells you, commands you to do evil. So sometimes, my respected brothers and sisters, you may see something which seems fun. Lots of presents, lots of amusement, lots of games. Brothers and sisters, it could be following the khutuwat, the shaitan. Also, our beloved Prophet ﷺ, he warned us where he said, every newly invented matter is a bid'ah. It is an innovation, a heresy in the religion. And every heresy is going astray. And every going astray is in the fire. Christians, evangelical Christians accept and they see Christmas as a bid'ah. Seventh-day Adventists, Church of God of Prophecy, all those churches, they see that Christmas is a bid'ah. So imagine now you celebrating, what are you celebrating? Something of Tawheed or something of bid'ah? Something of bid'ah in somebody else's religion. Forget your religion. It's somebody else's religion, you're following a bid'ah. And the Prophet warned us that every single innovation, every bid'ah is going astray. Is that it? Did he stop there, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam? Did he say every bid'ah is going astray? No. And he told us that every going astray is in the hellfire. We seek refuge in Allah from it. Also, we have been commanded to worship Allah alone and not associate partners with Him. Allah says, وَاعْبُدُوا اللَّهَ وَلَا تُشْرِكُوا بِهِ شَيْئًا. Worship Allah and not associate any partners with Him. The person who worships Allah in Tawheed, that you affirm that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the creator and the sustainer and the one who's controlling all the affairs. You affirm that Allah has names and attributes in the Quran and authentic Sunnah, that you call Him by these names, and you can't innovate in these names or call Allah by other names. There's a very good, important point here. Is it okay for me to call Allah Krishna? Raise your hands if it is. Who thinks it's not okay? Raise your hands. Is it okay for me to call Allah Yahweh? Raise your hands if you think it is. If it's not okay, raise your hands. Can I call Allah God? If it's okay, raise your hand. If it's not okay, raise your hand. Does Allah refer to His names? From His names and attributes is God? Because we know the principle. The principle is we never call Allah by names that doesn't come from the Kitab and the Sunnah. Does Allah refer to Himself as God in the Kitab and the Sunnah? We have Al-Ilah, we have Allah, but we don't have God. Now I did some research. I went to the Encyclopedia Britannica. Those who are my age remember the Encyclopedia Britannica. It's an encyclopedia of 1820, over 180 years old. Big thick book, mashallah. And I flicked it to the word God. And it said the word God is an ancient name by the people, Germanic people used to refer to one of their deities. So it's like Krishna. Krishna is one of the deities of the Hindu religion of many deities. They don't have just one. The ancient Germanic people had many deities, not just one deity, but this name also referred to a supreme deity. Look at that. I remember I gave a lecture and I said the same thing. A brother said to me, he was from West Africa, he said, we don't refer to Allah by Allah. We use our own, a name from our own language. I said to him, brother, how do you not know that the name you're using from your language was a deity and you're committing shirk? How do you know that? Isn't it? Your forefathers could have believed, which many people in Africa do today, they could be animists, they believe in spirits of the air, the moon, the sun, the wind. And you're using this name that your ancient forefathers used to refer to a deity of the wind. You don't know this. Am I right? As people of Tawheed, that we also, the third category of Tawheed, my respected brothers and sisters, that we affirm that Allah, Him and Him alone deserves to be worshipped in a way that He has told us in the Quran and the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. And so, if this is the case, the person is the muwahhid, they stay not only away from shirk itself, no, you don't just stay away from shirk, but all those roads that lead to shirk. Am I right? Everything that leads to shirk, you stay away from it as well, not just shirk itself. Allah says, وَلَا تَقْرَبُوا zina, don't come close to zina. Allah doesn't say don't do zina. Everything that leads to zina, the doors are closed to it. Everything that leads to that evil, the door should be close to it. And so, this festival starts off as something, as Imam al-Bukhari he said about bid'ah, starts as a small thing, becomes a big mountain. I'm paraphrasing, not in his words, becomes a big thing. And I give the example of the Prophet's birthday, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. They started off reading the seerah, and look at them today. Christmas lights, decoration. Even they say that he's harder or nadir, that he hears and he sees. Imagine this. You're giving the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam attributes of Allah to be omnipresent. He's present everywhere. You're saying every time somebody celebrates the Prophet's birthday, he is there in person. Subhanallah. Subhanallah. It started off as a small thing, and look at it today. And so, my respected brothers and sisters, that we need to be careful as people of Tawheed that we worship Allah alone. And last of all, Allah warns us, competition in worldly increase their virtue. Alhaakumut takathur. What we see with these celebrations, as I said to the brother, they take away the religious component today because of a move towards secularism. But what is left is young people don't even respect the day on the 25th of September. They don't respect it in a religious or even a moral sense. It's just about gimme, 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 gimme. Am I right? Our young children are just consumers. That's all they are. People who want to buy stuff. And you buy the iPhone today, what happens tomorrow? Not that. Are we ever happy? You buy somebody when the iPhone 6 came out, they were happy. iPhone 8 came out, what happened? When the iPhone 8 came out, when the iPhone 8 came out, you bought them the iPhone 8. Were they happy? No. The iPhone X came out. iPhone 8 came out. Were they happy with the 8? No, they want the X. Now you have the XR and the S. They don't want the iPhone X, they want the SR, they want the X. Never ever happy. Then when we look at our children, what do we see our children? Forever chasing the dunya. Now, I'm not about Muslims being poor. Or as they say in Arabic, darawish. Walking around with a bowl, begging people. Not about that at all. I believe, alhamdulillah, our young children should be entrepreneurs. They should go, have higher degrees, but be entrepreneurs. Having businesses for ourselves. Like other communities have. Have our own businesses. We employ ourselves and we employ non-Muslims to show them this is what ethical business looks like. Because most businesses are not ethical. We show them this is how it is to work in a Muslim business. And you're treated with love and respect like a member of the family. And you get your due. This is why we should have businesses. However, money is a means to an end. That is, you get money and wealth to help you come closer to Allah. To become independent of the creation and dependent on the Creator. Because when you're self-employed, you don't know if you're going to make money tomorrow. So you say, oh Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you've been very gracious to me to allow me to eat today, to have money today. Oh Allah, help me tomorrow so I have business. So you're dependent on the Creator, not the creation. But we see with these type of festivals, what do they do to the people? They make the people just want to have money as a means in and of itself. And this is the danger. And with that, I give two advice, and then I stop. The first advice, our Prophet told us, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, in a hadith that's been narrated by Abdullah ibn Umar, collected by Imam Bukhari, where the Prophet said, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that every single one of you is a guardian and responsible for your wards, those under you. So parents, it's important for you to educate your kids. Educate your kids and tell them about these festivals and celebrations. Also, we learn from the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ that's been collected by Imam Tirmidhi and narrated by Anas ibn Malik, where the Prophet said ﷺ, the person who shows good is like the one who does it. So here, brothers and sisters, we need to educate not just Muslims, but non-Muslims about the dangers of these festivals. Who believe that these festivals somehow are linked to Christianity when they're linked to paganism. When they believe that these festivals have good, but really we see these festivals are not bringing them closer to their humanity. It never makes them fulfilled. It doesn't make them compassion. It doesn't give them self-sufficiency. It takes them away from these things. Jazakumullah khair. I'd like to thank you all for being very gracious and very patient with me. I don't know, the person who speaks long makes many mistakes. So I'll open the floor for any clarifications or any corrections. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bless you for attending today's conference, to bless the brothers and sisters who are responsible, the administration of the masjid, for allowing me to come and for holding this conference to educate the community. وجزاكم الله خير والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.